Let's talk about the habits of highly frugal people. Hey everyone, I hope you're having a really good day. Today I wanted to revisit a topic that I have touched on many times, and in fact I have a whole frugal habits playlist if you're interested, but I wanted to talk today about some habits that my husband and I have adopted while we were paying off debt and then continue to practice these things. But first, if you're new around here, hello, my name is Lydia Senn. I make videos on frugal and simple living. We are a debt-free family of 6. We paid off $36,000 in 2 years on one tiny little income, and we have stayed debt-free since 2014. So let's talk about it. If you like this type of video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more tips, tricks, and ideas, non-judgmental advice that will encourage and inspire you, then I would love for you to subscribe and join our little community. So frugal people are intentional with both their time and their money. Have you ever heard the phrase, time is money? Well, it's true. Recently, I read an article in Entrepreneur magazine that talked about how the average millionaire reads 2 books a month. I read like 2 books a week. Am I like ahead of the curve and a multimillionaire? No, because I read trash. Millionaires usually read nonfiction, self-help, finance, things that inspire them, history, that sort of thing. And you might ask yourself where you would find the time to read. Well, we all spend time mindlessly scrolling the internet, right? Sometimes we just need that break. We need that time to just unwind and zone out. But if we're spending all of our time zoning out, then we're not zoning into the things that will actually move us forward and condition us for success. And so if you want to read more, or you want to write more, or you want to take up a hobby, the time you're spent scrolling and arguing with people on the internet could be better used in a productive way that facilitates those things that you want in the future. I just spent 25 minutes on TikTok. So if you want to take my advice, just know that we're all guilty of it. And the same goes with money. We don't just waste time, we waste money buying things that we don't necessarily care about. And I'm not going to tell you to cut out everything or to stop doing things that you enjoy. I am going to tell you though to focus on what matters to you. We eat out every Friday. We get curbside pickup from a local restaurant we love. But we try to avoid eating out on nights where we just didn't feel like cooking. And that's where good habits like meal planning or having something prepped in the freezer comes into play, because I would much rather spend my eating out money on things that I enjoy and look forward to every week than having a greasy paper bag shoved at me through a window. And so when we're intentional by doing things like meal planning and budgeting, we can spend money on things that we actually enjoy instead of playing catch up because we spent money on things we don't enjoy because we weren't intentional with our time. And then another area where time matters is when it comes to investing and paying off debt. So when we were paying off debt, we had credit card debt and student loan debt, and it was pretty much 50-50. So while we had multiple student loans and those debts were actually smaller, we didn't focus on paying those off and instead focused on the credit cards simply because that was compounded interest working against us. So if you have a credit card, I highly recommend that you get motivated when it comes to paying it off, because that interest is constantly being accrued and working against you. And it's the same thing when it comes to investing. Invest early, invest often. Even if you don't have a ton of money to invest, it is still a long game. So if you have a little that you can just sock away every single month, time is in your favor. Okay, so I was recently wasting time on TikTok, but I saw a video and the woman said, would you rather have $1,000 now or 1 penny doubled every day for 31 days? And most people would answer $1,000 now because they're not thinking that a penny doubled every day would be $5,368,709.12. Because it's compounded. Okay, so my next thing, frugal people do not honor sunk costs. What is a sunk cost? Well, a sunk cost is money that you put into something that you will never see again. A sunk cost is money that you put into a car or a vacation or a pair of shoes. There are benefits associated with it. The pair of shoes protect your feet from the earth. The car gets you where you need to go, the vacation builds memories, and you get time away to enjoy yourself, but it's not an investment because it's not money that you're going to get back. And the thing that people often run into, and this is something that my husband and I have dealt with in our own life recently, is you put money into something. And because you put that money into it, you continue to put money into it to justify that initial expense. So let's take a car, for example. A few years ago, we bought a used minivan, super cheap, off the side of the road. And over the past year, some stuff has started to go wrong with it because it was an old, cheap minivan we bought off the side of the road. Well, it was a huge blessing to our family for the past 3 years. My husband and I said from the get-go, the second this van costs us more to repair than what we bought it for, it is no longer a blessing and it will be time to let go of it. We didn't want to honor that sunk cost by saying, let's just put more money into it since we already bought it and we need to just continue putting money into it. And instead we decided to look for something that would serve our family a little bit longer, and we bought a new used van. Last week, I was reading something that Paula Pant wrote. If you don't know who Paula Pant is, she has a podcast called Afford Anything, and she's fantastic. She is also a landlord and owns several rental properties around the country. She had flown out to, I think it was Indianapolis, to look at a duplex or an apartment building. She realized it wasn't going to work for her, and she walked away from the deal. She said that all she spent was the ticket to fly out there and the Lyft driver who drove her around, but that it would really have been easy for her to say, you know what, I'm already out here. I took all this time. I'm just going to buy the building. And that is honoring sunk costs. We see it when people get into a multi-level marketing scheme and they have to constantly buy new products every month to rank up. You're not making money if you're spending money just to make a rank. You're honoring the sunk cost that you put into this business opportunity. And so that's not something that frugal people do. Life requires money. Sometimes you just have to spend money that you're not going to get back because that's life. But if you find yourself continually putting money into something that you don't reap rewards from, that's just honoring sunk costs. Frugal people do not waste. Wasted potential, wasted time, wasted money. This can be something like a water hose that bursts and continues to run with the water leaking everywhere, or it's throwing out food that you bought but didn't prepare, or it's chasing after a single stock that someone told you was gonna blow through the roof and you're not focusing on long-term investing. So frugal people do not like to waste their time, they don't like to waste resources, and they don't like to waste money. Kind of goes with my next one, buy nice or buy twice. There are some things that you just put money into and you buy the nicer option because you know it's going to last longer, and that cheaper one, while may save you $1 now, you're going to have to replace it in 6 months. So you know how I just talked about the water hose and letting that hose bust and that water run and be wasteful? This is a good example of buying nice or buying twice. You skip the $10 water hose and you go for the one that you know is going to last you a few years so that you're not continually replacing things. You didn't think frugal meant cheap, did you? Because there are a lot of things that I find myself going for the more quality item because I know in the long run it's going to save me money. Frugality is about not wasting money on things that I don't care about so that I have the money to spend on things that I do care about and things that I know are going to benefit my life. So things that we spend money on because we know they're going to get a lot of wear and we don't want them to tear up and constantly have to replace them are things like shoes, mattresses, pants, office chairs, bicycles. More to get a higher quality item will actually save you money in the long run. But don't use this as an excuse to go out and buy all new, all name brand stuff. No, it means you research it and you buy it at the right time. Which brings me to my next point. Frugal people frequently buy used. The amount of things in my house that I could point to that I bought used were secondhand. Things like my car. I don't want to buy something that's just going to immediately depreciate in value. My technology. I buy a lot of refurbished phones and computers, and people often ask, well, where do you get them? If you just Google factory refurbished, whatever, you will find what you're looking for. I'm talking to you on a factory refurbished Canon that my husband bought me 5 years ago, and it still works fantastic. I'm going to edit this on a factory refurbished computer that I've had for several years that is still fantastic. A lot of the clothes that I wear and that my children wear comes secondhand. Places like ThredUp, eBay, the thrift store. I'm going to try to buy the highest quality item I can, but I'm going to try to buy it used because it will save me money and it's better for the environment. And when it comes to things like factory refurbished technology, that means it is sent back to the manufacturer cleans it up, repairs anything that may be wrong with it, and you're getting a cleaned up, basically brand new version of that item for a fraction of the cost. Well, don't keep up with trends. I'm not going to redo my house every time the wind blows because the trend changed. Or, you know, I buy a few classic wardrobe staples and I just don't worry about changing trends every single time. I'm too old and too tired to keep up with that. I wore my skinny jeans to Target today. I do not care that skinny jeans are out. I'm gonna wear my leggings tomorrow. I'm comfortable and I don't want to throw stuff out or send bags of clothes to places that don't need them simply because I'm trying to keep up with trends. So Personal Finance Club is one of my favorite accounts on Instagram, and he talks about investing and living frugally and how that has helped him to become a millionaire. And he was doing a live and wearing just regular headphones that hook to his phone. And someone said, "You're a millionaire and you don't even have AirPods." And I had to laugh because often people who are wealthy aren't flashing their cash. They're not necessarily buying the newest and best gadgets. They're not chasing after trends. There's nothing wrong with AirPods, by the way. I bought my husband a pair for our anniversary. He loves them. I feel like they were worth the money, but I refused to buy them for myself because my headphones that hook to the bottom of my phone work just fine. And I'm not going to spend that money. I actually had some in my cart. I was about to hit purchase, and then I said, no, this is not worth it, and moved the money to my Roth IRA instead. I just couldn't do it. And this also comes to investment trends. Investing is very important if you want to gain long-term wealth. And I don't want you to get this idea that like wealth equals money worship. But if you want to start a nonprofit, help your parents retire, help people adopt babies, like whatever these wonderful altruistic things that you want to do, these require money. And so wealth building is a tool in your arsenal that will help you get where you need to go. But following investment trends can often result in losing money. So when you see people hyping up a single stock or Forex or Bitcoin, take a step back and think about how people who have built long-term wealth built long-term wealth. It wasn't chasing after trends or buying single stocks. It was time and patience. Okay, so I hope these tips have helped you or maybe been eye-opening to you. Leave me a question below and tell me what you need help with your budget. Also, do you follow any of these tips, any of these mindsets? I would love to know. Leave me a comment. If you are not subscribed, please do so. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in my next video.